When everybody likes it, we gotta complain. We're quite contrary. This is gonna be the worst.
It'll be fine.
Okay. Thank you.
Sorry.
I'm going to start it with that. Thank you, and welcome to Quite Contrary, the only show that's mathematically designed to disagree with you. I'm Zach Nanimus.
Johnny Dem.
And today we have shotgunned pretty much, actually not even pretty much, all of the Punisher,
Yeah.
within the last 36 hours.
We're not tired at all.
We've seen the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And we looked online, and we looked at Metacritic, and we looked at Rotten Tomatoes, and we saw some of the other reviews that are already out there, and we decided that, based on other people's opinions, that it's not good. So here's what sucks about it. Disclaimer. Doing all of this in the amount of time that we had is very taxing, very time-consuming, and it's very late where we're recording this right now. And I hate it.
You hate it?
I hate it.
That's the disclaimer?
Number one, milking it. Some of you may have noticed that lately when it comes to Marvel on Netflix, there's an awful lot of nothing going on.
Mm-hmm.
The
Stretching it.
Yes, the Defenders was really bad about this. Just having conversations that went nowhere between characters that we didn't care about. And ultimately, it felt like they were just trying to get to that 12 episode. I don't even know how many episodes the Defenders had. But, you know, it's 11 to 13 is what they're usually going for.
The issue is that these things feel, especially the Punisher, they feel like movies that are just stretched out.
Yeah.
They feel like full-length features, and the problem is that we're getting just filler. We're getting filler episodes.
They do their best to interleave some of these characters with the main plot. Like in this one, we have Lewis Wilson,
right,
who very briefly works with Anvil, which is Howlin' Bobby. What's his Billy Russo.
Billy Russo.
Danny Russo, the Karate Kid.
Yeah.
He does look like Ralph Macchio, doesn't he?
He does a little bit.
I think one of the interesting things about the whole Lewis Wilson side plot is that it's supposed to be like the tragic story of what happens to a Marine when he's cast out by society, and his issues are either enabled or not addressed by the people around him. And that's all well and good, and I understand why it's in the Punisher story, but that itself could have been a Punisher story.
Right.
Frank could have been Lewis.
Right.
You know what I mean? And he could have taken that journey instead of being this kind of all-knowing alpha male that he turned out being. Don't get me wrong, he does have his tragic moments, but when it comes to the problems that arise with PTSD and stuff like that, he's not exactly a poster boy. Not that you want to be, but what I'm getting at is that the really interesting stuff could have been used on the main character, and in that way compressed time. Actually, you know what? If they had cut every from the show,
that would be like 30 minutes.
No, would have saved at least 2 episodes at minimum. Ultimately, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Season 1 of Marvel's, Disney's, Netflix's The Punisher could have easily been a movie. And I think ultimately this length makes a lot of it feel unnecessary. You know, it'd be kind of like if they took a one-time random Spider-Man villain and then made a long, depressing, ultra-violent television series out of it.
Wasn't the Punisher a Spider-Man villain?
Spider-Man does whatever a spider can. Spins a web any size, catches thieves just like flies. Look out, here comes the Spider-Man.
Number 2, no punishing. So as we were watching this, we watched a large chunk of The Punisher together, and one of the things you made very clear early on was that you wish there was more punishing.
I really do.
Because as we watched it, I noticed it. Like it is basically the adventures of Frank Castle, the Marine, doing Marine things. Like, that's mainly what he was doing.
And like doing like super realistic marine things,
Right.
like going to therapy and stuff,
Right.
you know,
Or not going to therapy.
meeting new friends.
Right, right. Becoming basically part of a buddy cop drama if the buddy cops didn't like each other.
Well, that's every buddy cop drama. That's how every buddy cop drama starts. And you know, the thing is, I don't remember exactly which Deadpool run it was, but it was I think it was in the early 2000s when they when they rebooted the Deadpool comic books. One of the things that they were very clear with their mission statement early on was that the side characters would cycle in and out because they didn't want it to be Deadpool and friends.
Right.
This is definitely Punisher and friends.
Absolutely.
He is one of at least 3 main characters.
Spoiler alert, we didn't get the real punishing of Punisher until the last episode, where he punishes that motherfucker. You know, I had an argument, or not. I had a point, a counterpoint to this, and that was like, maybe this is like in Daredevil. This is the Punisher becoming the Punisher. Like in Daredevil, it was the Daredevil becoming the Daredevil. He doesn't become the Daredevil until the end of the first season. So,
okay.
So I mean, that argument could be made.
He's not in a suit until
Right.
the end of the first season.
Right.
But a suit does not a Daredevil make.
Right, that's absolutely true. Yeah. No. And it seems like when he was getting to the like he's almost punishing at one point, it's to the guy that ends up becoming his partner and has no ill intent towards him at all. And he's basically torturing the guy for no reason.
Yeah.
It's just because he thinks he might be the guy was following him or something. It's like it's not clear. It's not good. The Punisher should be punishing. It's in his name. I mean, what? Go ahead.
Well, my whole thing about it is that, once again, this was a long series.
Yeah.
You know, and the whole time, Frank is obsessed with the idea of killing the people that wronged him.
Right.
And it isn't until the very end that he realizes that if he wants to feel vindicated by his actions, killing them is too easy. And that's one of the, and this may sound morbid, but that's one of the fun things about the Punisher. The Punisher appeals to a very base instinct to put punitive actions on one another for wrongdoing, a sense of revenge, which is ultimately a destructive thing, but in a comic book it can be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Do unto others as they have murdered your family. Imagine if you did this to other superheroes. Imagine Batman without the bat.
Imagine Wonder Woman without the wonder.
Right, or Brainiac without the brain.
Yeah, I mean, when you take away the core aspects of a character from a comic book and then put it on film, what are you left with?
The Arrow.
It's Oliver. It's Oliver.
Oliver? Oliver, is that you?
No.
It takes a special kind of idiot to actually get dumber with time.
That's a noisy train.
Number 3! The camera thing. Now, this is going to be a little difficult to describe. Hopefully everybody's seen it, because we always do spoilers. But in this show, we have a character who is affectionately called Micro. And Micro is a tech wizard, whistleblower. He's an allegory for famous whistleblowers like Edward Snowden.
Right.
And he is believed to be dead, and he's currently keeping tabs on his entire family with secret cameras in the house. Which actually make up some of the best parts of the show.
Super,
you know,
yes.
Watching him slowly obsess over and eventually detach himself from his family as Frank begins to interject himself into his family and starts to take over the patriarchal role.
You're constantly wondering when you're watching those scenes, what is Micro thinking? Because there's a bunch of different things you could be thinking about, whether he's approving or disapproving of what Frank is doing, and it's just super interesting to watch.
And it's deep and complex and mature, but easy to follow up to a point.
Correct.
Where it's one of the last times that Frank goes over to his house to do something. He's kissed the wife already at
Cleaner
one point.
pipes.
So Frank comes back to base and he makes a reference to Micro watching his family on the cameras all the time, and then Micro gives him this look.
Yeah.
And Frank's like, didn't think you knew about that, did you?
Yeah.
And it's like,
We thought that everybody knew.
We were almost certain that this really interesting and complex part of the relationship between, Frank going over there and being observed, even when he seems to be misbehaving with Micro's family, we thought that everybody was in the loop and that there were no secrets, and it was just this kind of difficult part of their relationship. So before we wrap this up, we do want to do one new segment that pays homage to the fact that Johnny, like some sort of obsessed hacker night owl freak, was up alone taking notes on the Punisher movie and pointing out every little detail that was wrong. Here's our new segment, Johnny's Losing It.
So it's a great. I was telling you that it's a completely awesome that that we watch these things at home sometimes and not in a movie theater because I can only take notes while I'm watching it.
Yes, that is the great thing about watching it at home.
So great.
It's not
so great.
It's not the convenience or the comfort.
These are all the details that really bother me. First one I noticed. So, what's his name? Francis. That's not
Ferdinand.
No, Mr.
Scott Key.
No, crazy guy who digs the hole. He digs a foxhole in the backyard. Wilson. Last name Wilson.
Slade Wilson.
That's not it.
Wade Wilson. Mr. Wilson.
Nope, we're done. When he's in the hole, he's like about to go to sleep or something, and I noticed there was no mud on his boots. So the soldier digs the foxhole. He has no mud on his shoes. That's number one. The Homeland Security office scenes seem empty and not lived in. It doesn't seem like a believable office setting to me. Castle was worried about Micro's DNA being left at a crime scene, but then put his own fingerprints all over Dina's badge. After her car accident, why was Dina's body bandages only around her breasts? Suspicious.
Because that's what she broke. Either way, thank you so much for hanging out. Before we go, I do want to talk about our two primary sponsors who are always so awesome. That's Camp Gladiator. Clamp Gladiator. Clamp Gladiator is the only place to get discount clamp chowder in the Northwest region. That and the... you can't say it.
I can. Acadiana Humane Society, which you can check out at acadianahumane.org.
That's right. Remember, adopt, don't buy. And so, we are going to end this video in the traditional, quite contrary way, eating gummy snacks in silence. No, I'm serious. I'm stopping this because the Fruit Ninja ones are awful.
I know. That's why I don't eat them.
Yeah, this is an official condemnation of the Fruit Ninja gummy snacks. They're disgusting and impossible to eat.